Part 4C tonight. The abomination that maketh desolate. Daniel chapter 9. Abomination is a word that means a thing that causes disgust or hatred. This bill is an abomination to all mankind, as an example. Something that's disgusting. The word abomination is used quite a few times in the Bible. For instance, in Genesis 24, Joseph told his brothers, go tell Pharaoh that you guys are shepherds. Why? Because I want you to live in the land of Goshen, which is the best land they've got. It's pasture land. And the Egyptians hate shepherds. Here's what he said. It shall come to pass when Pharaoh shall call you, and shall say, what is your occupation? That ye shall say, thy servant's trade hath been about cattle from our youth. And cattle in the biblical terms means sheep. Okay? From our youth even until now, both we and also our fathers, that ye may dwell in the land of Goshen, for every shepherd is an abomination unto the Egyptians. Well, here the Bible interprets itself like the King James always does. What is cattle? A shepherd takes care of cattle. So it's talking about, in their terminology, sheep. Okay? In Leviticus chapter 11, these shall ye eat of all that are in the waters. Whatsoever hath fins and scales in the waters and seas and the rivers, them ye shall eat. So to the Jew, they can't eat. If it has fins and scales, you can eat it, which means you shouldn't eat a catfish under Jewish law. They don't have scales. And all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, and of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So that's why they don't eat shellfish, they don't eat squid, octopus. If it doesn't have fins and scales, it's that simple. Now this is for the Jews. I'm Norwegian. If you want to eat shrimp, go for it. Okay? If you don't want it, pass it over to me. Okay. It's an abomination. Leviticus 18, another one of God's laws. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. This is homosexuality, queers. God says don't do that. I'm from the 50s and 60s. They were called queers. Okay. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall a woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. Bestiality. God says this is an abomination. Deuteronomy 22. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. Now I want you to notice something interesting. We'll back up a few. If you eat things that don't fins and scales, you can eat. But if it doesn't have fins and scales and you eat it, it shall be an abomination, watch this carefully, unto you. This will make you sick. But he said here, a woman wears a man's clothes and a man wears a woman's clothes. This is an abomination unto God. See, some things are an abomination to you. God says don't do that. It's going to make you sick. God says don't do that. It's going to make me sick. That's Deuteronomy 22. Anyway, Daniel chapter 9, where we are tonight. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. We talked about that last night. And in the midst of the week, what is the middle of 7.5 years? Or 7 years? 3.5. He shall cause the sacrifice and oblation to cease. And we mentioned, well, if he's going to make the sacrifice cease, they must be doing the sacrifice, which means they must have the temple built. So they got to build the temple during that first 3.5 years. For the overspreading of abominations, he shall make it desolate. The same he is the same one in the previous verse, the prince that shall come. This is the Antichrist. So the Antichrist is going to make it desolate. This brand new temple they just built, he's going to desolate it. Even until the consummation and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Daniel 11. An arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice, and they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate. They're going to put something in the temple that's abominable. Now there's a couple options here. A human sacrifice would make it desolate, abominable. A a false god, someone claiming to be God other than the Lord God, an idol. The Jews took them a long time to learn, like a couple thousand years, but they finally learned, don't worship idols, don't make idols. And God said that to Moses way before that, but they're a little slow to learn. They finally got it. Oh, you mean don't make idols? Yeah, okay. That's what I told you. Don't do that. It might be a pig. That would be an unclean animal. That's what Antiochus Epiphanes did in 165 BC, sacrificed a pig on the altar. And the temple was desolate for 1,075 days, I believe. So the Maccabees brothers, in the Catholic Bible, they've got the book 1st and 2nd Maccabees, tells the story of them going in and cleansing the temple. And they only had enough oil for the lamps to burn one day. They said, oh, Lord, what are we going to do? And the lamps miraculously burned for 10 days on one day's worth of oil. And the Jews to this day celebrate that holiday. Anybody know what they call it? Hanukkah. It's not a biblical holiday. It's just part of their history from the Maccabees in about 165 or something BC. Anyway, Daniel chapter 12. And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days. So abomination is mentioned 3 times in the book of Daniel. In Daniel chapter 8, and host was given unto him against the daily sacrifice. We're backing up a chapter now. By reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, and it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said to that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation? So he's asking, these guys are talking to each other, how long is his temple going to be desolate? To give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot. And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days. Now hold on a minute. 2,300 days. Then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So again, they have to have a sanctuary. First they got to build their temple. Then it's going to be desolated. Then 2,300 years later, 300 days later, it's going to be cleansed. Well, in the middle of the 7-year period, the abomination of desolation takes place. Antichrist breaks the treaty. Remember, Jesus' disciples asked him in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, Lord, when are you coming? What's the sign? When are you coming? What's the sign? When are you coming? What's the sign? Luke 21, Mark 13, Matthew 24. And so he tells them. But in the middle of this long passage here, in the middle, right there, he tells about the abomination of desolation. Right there, and right there, and right there. In the middle of each of these passages. So I believe the first half talks about the first 3.5 years. The second half talks about the last 3.5 years. What's going to happen? Then down here he says, after the tribulation, I'm coming when the sun and the moon go dark. They asked him when and what sign. He told them. After the tribulation, when the sun and the moon go dark. So here's the first part we talked about last night, the first part of that chapter. But at the bottom he talks about the abomination of desolation. I'll read the verses to you. Here it is in Matthew. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. He said, when you see this, I think when you see the image set up in the temple, or you see the wrong sacrifice, get out of Jerusalem. Don't even go back in the house to pack anything. Run. Just run. Mark 13. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing in the where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. Get out of Dodge. Luke 21. When ye shall see the Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out of it, and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. If you're out in the country, don't go back to town. Jerusalem's going to be a hotbed of activity. Now, Antiochus Epiphanes, one of the Greek leaders, went down, fought against Egypt, and lost. And on the way back home, he was mad, so he stopped and desolated the Jewish temple. He sacrificed a pig on the temple, on the altar. And it was desolate for 1,075 days, I think. Now, in Daniel 8, it says, the one saint said, how long's the saint vision about the daily sacrifice? How long is it going to be desolate? And he said, 2,300 days. There are those who teach that this desolation of the temple already took place. It happened back with Antiochus. No, because Antiochus only desolated it for 1,075 days. It's going to be desolate for 2,300 days. So the temple is desolated. 2,300 days later, it's finally cleansed. 2,300 days. That's more than 3.5 years. This last half of the 7-year period is 3.5 years long. But there's an extra 1,040 days. We are caught up right here in the rapture at the end of the tribulation. While we're at the marriage supper of the Lamb having a wonderful time, the wrath of God is poured out on the world. Jesus comes only to the clouds, catches us up, then 1,040 days later, which is almost 3 years, we come back with him on white horses, and now he touches down. And the Mount of Olives splits in half. Temple water flows out from under the temple. We'll get into that later. So this 1,040 days is the time of God's wrath being poured out. We're not here for that. But the temple is desolate for 2,300 days. It is not going back to Antiochus Epiphanes. This is still yet to come. Mark it down. All right, Daniel chapter 9, verse 27 tells about several things have to happen. That 70th week of Daniel. The last half of that is called the time of great tribulation. You think the first half was bad? Wait till you see what comes in the next half. We'll talk about that next time. Thank you for joining us. If you want to get our book called 855 Big Dino Extension 1, you can order our materials, our videos, our DVDs. Have helped a lot of people come to the Lord.